If you work as a manufacturing facilities engineer, installing a new piece of equipment can be as complex as the machinery itself. From prep work to alignment and testing, it's your team's job to put it all together. That's why it's good to have Grainger on your side. With industrial-grade products and next-day delivery, Grainger helps ensure you have everything you need close at hand through every step of the installation. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This episode is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. You chose to hit play on this podcast today. Smart choice. Progressive loves to help people make smart choices. That's why they offer a tool called Auto Quote Explorer that allows you to compare your Progressive car insurance quote with rates from other companies. So you save time on the research and can enjoy savings when you choose the best rate for you. Give it a try after this episode at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Not available in all states or situations. Prices vary based on how you buy.
Here's a throwback to the very first podcast that I ever hosted and produced, Women Acquiring Assets. Enjoy these conversations with women who are doing great things throughout the United States.
Welcome to the podcast all about women's wealth. Women's wealth is growing faster than men's. As women in the next generation rise in financial power, women will fundamentally change the meaning of legacy. Women as singles, mothers, wives, or widows not only need access to a full continuum of opportunities to save, invest, and preserve financial assets, they also need access to financial education and coaching, coupled with affordable and appropriate savings and credit-building products at key times in their lives. Join us on Women Acquiring Assets and learn the stepping stones to home ownership, investment properties, cryptocurrency, business development, and learn all about saving, stocks, and so much more. Let's grow our networks together.
Welcome to this week's edition of Women Acquiring Assets. I'm your host, Annika Jackson, and I am here with a very dear friend. I'm so excited to have her on the show. Welcome, Taylor Johnson.
Hi, Annika. Thanks so much for having me.
Absolutely. So Taylor is the perfect example of what this show is all about. We talk about assets, but we're not just talking about financial assets, emotional, spiritual, physical, mental, all of those things and how they work together. And I met Taylor. We are both suburban housewives in Texas, and our girls were part of the same group. We were in the same Mommy and Me group, and seeing Taylor build up her business, Hazel and Olive, was just really a sight to see. And you've had such a journey since you started the business. Oh my gosh. So
for sure.
Yeah. So before you decided to start a boutique, you were a blogger. You were one of the very first bloggers. So will you tell our audience a little bit about that?
Yeah. So I started a blog just kind of as a way to see if I could kind of have a, work from home mom type job whenever my daughter was born, and it took off really quickly. So it was fun. I did a lot of fashion on it. That was my main focus, but also, mom life and that kind of thing. And so that brought in some really great sponsors, and it was a great, little small business for me to kind of do while my daughter napped or whatever, to still be able to be home with her.
Nice. And then how did you make that transition from mom and fashion blogger to fashion owner, boutique owner?
So I really, in 2012, I was still blogging, but not tons. I was starting to the world of Instagram and influencing on Instagram was starting to come up more so than just standard blogging. And I hadn't quite made the switch yet. So I really was just kind of wanting to pursue my true dream that I'd always had since I was little, which was to have my own clothing line. And so I knew that starting off, making my own clothing line would be quite expensive, and I definitely did not have the money to do that. So I decided to just start an online boutique by buying some wholesale brands, and really I just started honestly by selling them to my friends, as you know, like you. on Facebook. And then it just kind of exploded on me to where I built my website and then just kept growing it from there.
And truly, you were probably one of the pioneers of that as well. So not only one of the first bloggers, but one of the first people to really utilize the power of social media to start your brand.
Yes, for sure. It was quite different back then, being one of the only online boutiques. And, I got really lucky with the timing of it, because when I started, there weren't all these crazy algorithms and things like that now definitely are out there that make it a lot more challenging to do.
Mm-hmm. And if you don't mind sharing with our listeners how you started, like what you had to do, the sacrifices you had to make this dream a reality.
Yeah. So whenever I started, I did not have, it was kind of just a crazy point in my life. I did not have any money to my name, just everything that could go wrong seemed to kind of bad thing going wrong. And I was really sick with lupus. So I was on medications that made me not able to drive, you name it, kind of odds against me. So I clipped coupons, saved up $300 and bought my first batch of inventory. That's what I sold to my friends. And once that sold, I just kept reinvesting the money and into buying more inventory. From there, the orders were just pouring in. I would hand write all the addresses. I would load them up on a bike cart with my daughter and ride my bike up to the post office and ship them all out. It was just crazy for sure.
Oh my gosh, what an amazing journey. I remember the first day that overnight you had $10,000 in sales.
Yes.
And how life-changing this has all been. So
for sure.
Yeah, and so you moved, we were in a suburb outside of Houston, and you moved back to the Dallas area. And that's when the journey really continued with your brand. And you have your online component, you have a brick and mortar.
Yes. Yeah. So I eventually moved back to Dallas. My family was here and my mom and aunt had offered to work for me if I made the move back. So moved back to Dallas and pretty quickly opened up a storefront location just because it had always been a dream of mine to have a brick and mortar store as well as online. Mm-hmm. So opened up that and then, found a warehouse space to warehouse our online out of. And it's really been great. We love being back in Dallas.
And having the support of your family there. That's really amazing.
Yes, for sure.
So since then, in the 9 years now, almost 9 years to your anniversary.
Yeah. Yeah, coming up.
Amazing. So where's your business now?
So now, like I said, I'd always wanted to really have my own line that I designed. I got my degree in fashion design and merchandising. So really my life goal had always been to design my own line. So it's been a long, slow process of getting there just because I'm not the biggest risk taker and it's quite risky to start that up. But this year, actually, we're pretty much to where we're probably the spring and summer are going to be about 90% of what we sell will be Hazel and Olive exclusive line that I've designed.
Amazing.
And it's also, it's going to be carried by other boutiques as well, which wasn't necessarily my intention with it, but I just had so many people reach out to me that they wanted to carry it in their stores as well. So it's been really fun.
That is such an incredible journey. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
If you're a lineman in charge of keeping the lights on, Grainger understands that you go to great lengths and sometimes heights to ensure the power is always flowing, which is why you can count on Grainger for professional-grade products and next-day delivery, so you have everything you need to get the job done. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Of course. And I know that giving back has always been a big component of your business. So, what are some of the ways that you give back? So I know you have like local, national, and international initiatives. I'd love for you to tell our audience about some of those.
Yeah, so it's so important to me, especially coming from nothing like I did. I felt, so appreciative to have had such support and, success that I really wanted to make sure that I was always giving back. So I started right away. My goal was basically give back through every purchase in some manner. So we've done all kinds of things locally and internationally. So on a local level, one of our most known things that we do every year is free prom dresses and free homecoming dresses. So we do those. We put them out in front of our store. So any girl in need can just come by and grab whatever she wants. She doesn't have to come in if she's, doesn't feel comfortable doing that, but they're more than welcome to come in and try on as well. But we just wanted girls to be able to participate in things like that, otherwise might go to homecoming or prom because they don't have a dress. So we do that. And then we do basically the same thing, but free coats in the winter. So those are on a local, super local level. We also do a lot with American Red Cross and disaster relief. And on an international level, the main thing that we have done is we built a formula and wellness center in Mozambique, Africa. So through that, we're able to provide formula for babies that otherwise would not have a way to get fed. And they are able to also get food for, toddler age and things like that.
What motivated you to open a formula and wellness center in Mozambique?
So actually some friends of mine just frequently do some volunteer work over there. And they have seen a huge need for a formula and wellness center. And so they had mentioned it to me and I was just like, that seems like a no-brainer. They had made so many connections over there that they knew of people who could, build it and run it and everything else as long as I could just help provide financially to get it started. So it was really cool to see that come to light.
Wonderful. And is this a model that you want to continue in other countries or open more centers in Mozambique?
Yeah, we're really always just looking for different needs to be met that we can help with. So, it's kind of, I feel like sometimes I'm kind of all over the place with all the different things that we do, but really it's just whenever someone tells us there's a big need, if we're able to fulfill it, I want to be able to do that. So we try our best to do that.
And what motivated your giving heart? Because you're such a giver. First of all, you're such a kind person in general.
Oh,
I've never heard you say anything negative about somebody. You've always been, one of the sweetest friends. And obviously you have a very big heart with all of your give back initiatives. Was it something that you learned from your parents, your family? Is it just something that was within you from the beginning?
Oh, you're so sweet. I would say for sure it's just how I was raised. My parents have always been involved with, you name it, under the sun. I guess kind of a similar thing, see someone in need and jump in and fulfill whatever they could do, So I guess it's just kind of how I was raised.
Yeah. And then I'm sure that's one thing with giving, right? When you give of yourself, then it returns. Not that you expect anything in return, but it returns threefold with your business growth and all the other things. And it helps give you more capacity, I feel like.
For sure. It's super rewarding in so many different ways.
Wonderful. So what else do we want to cover? I want to hear more about your expanding with blogger collections and working with some Bachelor contestants.
Yeah. So, funny about, the Bachelor contestant thing is kind of funny how that didn't work out, but it's funny. We have had several influencers, influencers are always reaching out to us of wanting to do collab. And so I guess it was about a year and a half, a little bit more than a year and a half ago. You had reached out to us and I had been talking to my husband. I'm like, everybody does this. They kind of, and it's what I used to do with my fashion blog. Companies would reach out and they would pay me to show their clothes and how I style them and that kind of thing. And I was kind of like, I just want to do something that's different, that's a little bit more personal to these bloggers. So we brainstormed and came up with the idea of doing a specific collection to where basically they would tell me their style and certain things that they want. And then I work with them on curating this collection that, under their name and kind of gives them a brand and an identity, that's all theirs. So that's been really, really fun to do with these girls. It's also, it keeps things fresh for us because everybody's style is so unique that it's been a lot of fun, specifically this one that we just did. I got to design a lot of pieces for this influencer, and I just loved her unique style. So it was a lot of fun.
I love the take that how you're using social media, right, as a tool because you've been a blogger, because you have that background. And so you're able to approach it from a different way because there are so many companies out there that just see pictures on social media, they DM to be an ambassador, but their offers honestly are usually not that great and it's not super intentional. So not only are you really intentional about the way you built your brand and the way that you give back, but you're continuing to be intentional about who you're working with and how you're continuing to elevate the people that you're working with as well as your brand.
Yeah, that was one of the things that was so important to me because I was like, I want it to be genuine. I don't want them to just be getting paid to talk about an outfit that they were given or, you know what I mean? It was like, I want it to genuinely be what they love. So that was kind of, the idea behind it.
And if you don't mind getting a little personal, I'd love to talk a little bit about your family. You have a blended family. So you and your husband both bring children from other marriages. You're expecting. Congratulations.
Yes.
And then you
have
you adopted your son.
Yes. So my daughter is about to turn 12 next month. And then my son is 7. My stepdaughter is 6. And then baby on the way. So we have quite the circus, as my husband is saying.
Oh, absolutely. Quite a full house. And another thing, I know we've talked about this personally before, but you're Caucasian and your son is Black. So, it's how has that made you feel or how has that affected your son in this time of there's always different turmoil, but this year we've really been able to see and reflect on what's really happening in the United States.
Right.
And then just this week, now we have a Black woman vice president. So I'm curious, because he is young, did he, find out about any of the things that were going on in the world? Did you have to answer hard questions?
Yeah, so it's kind of, it's interesting, given that he is so young and he also is the most book smart, nerdy kid in the world. And so he always has his nose in a book and we always laugh about it because he's so oblivious just so much because he's just soaking up knowledge all the time that he can find. And so a lot of things that I've noticed as his mom raising him, he has not noticed, given his age also, the main things. But this year for sure, the main person, I guess, who had a lot of questions was my daughter. Obviously, she's super protective, big sister in every aspect. So she, of course, was hearing things and seeing things and had a lot of questions. And, of course, so many things just being so heartbreaking. But at the same time, it's kind of so many people's eyes are being open to this now that it for sure gives me a lot of hope for Malachi's future, given that a lot of people are just more aware now and are more like, oh my gosh, I had no idea, what should I do? Asking the right questions and asking friends the right questions. And, really a lot of people that I have encountered are really making such an effort to do better now.
Yeah, wonderful. And I think your attitude and your family are such great examples and role models for others to emulate.
Oh, well, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're talking a little bit about your line and how you've really moved into you've been selling other people's designs and lines, but now you have been designing your own. Is that, I know that your daughter, Raleigh, is very, very fashionable as well. So can you tell us a little bit more about your line? Is it going to include teen or tween clothes as well, or clothes for littles? And what can we expect? And has it launched? Is it about to launch?
If you're a lineman in charge of keeping the lights on, Granger understands that you go to great lengths and sometimes heights to ensure the power is always flowing, which is why you can count on Granger for professional-grade products and next-day delivery, so you have everything you need to get the job done. Call 1-800-GRANGER, click Granger.com, or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
Sure. I started doing really early on. I would do like 1 or 2 styles that I would design and have manufactured a season, just because it was just nerve-wracking. You have to buy these huge quantities and it's like, oh, what if people don't like it? So I've been doing that consistently for quite a few years now. This fall and winter, we added, I stepped it up a little, but our spring line, it has not launched yet. It's going to launch in March, and it is just women's. My daughter has begged me to do kids' clothes, and as much as I want to, I'm like, you know what? I just know my thing, kind of like, let me stick with what I know best. So it is just for women, and it is, I would say, a lot of floral prints that I designed that are feminine dresses, and that's my main focus. I personally love, a good floral dress that has lots of feminine details. So that was really my main inspiration.
Awesome. I love it. And I can't wait to see it either and wear your clothes. I am the proud owner of several pieces from your boutique. And yeah, it's we're in the pandemic, and we're still closed down in LA, so it's not like I can go get out and wear them anywhere right now, but I'm looking forward to it. So what else would you like to share with our audience today?
Oh my gosh, I don't even know. Gosh, I'm trying to think. This year has just been, not this year, last year was just so crazy as a business owner. And I'm sure, you know that everybody, not only as business owners, but just everyone. Such a crazy year. And I am so thankful for this new year coming that we're in now. And all hopefully just full of opportunities and great things for everyone.
Yes, I can feel it. And actually, that leads to a question I didn't ask yet. How was your business during the pandemic? You built up a solid reputation. You built up your online business. You have the brick and mortar. Were you able to continue the momentum?
Yeah, you know what? It was crazy because in the beginning, as you know, LA shut down, which is where majority of the companies that I work with whose lines we carry are based out of LA. And, in Texas, we were not shut down to the level that you guys were. It was so crazy because it was like, oh my gosh, what are we going to do? How are we going to get inventory? So it was pretty stressful there for a couple of months, not having much inventory or things to sell. So we had to kind of get really creative. But thankfully, a bunch of our wholesale companies were able to get back into their offices, with certain guidelines and get inventory moving. And once that happened, really, our business picked up quite a bit just as online has become so much more popular.
100%. Well, I'm so glad to hear that you are still able to find ways to engage with your audience and your customers and continue building your business.
Yes. Just a little, forced to be creative.
For sure. And we never talked about this, but your company is named after some people who are very dear to you. Because I know people would go, but your name's Taylor. Why is your company Hazel and Olive?
Yes. Yeah. So the name my great-grandmother's name was Hazel Olive, and she had the most crazy obsession with fashion that she had passed on to my grandmother, who both of them passed that on to me. And my grandmother taught me how to sew my own clothes and do my own design. So the two of them really, were for sure the reason for the name behind it, as they're super important to me.
I'm a huge fan of using family names. when you're doing anything, really, whether it's your business, your charity work. So I know and even actually my daughter, I've used my mom's family name for so many things. And yeah, as you know, I have an affinity for Africa as well. And I have an orphanage named Shaisiri Orphanage in Ghana. That's named after my mom's last name. My daughter's name is, her middle name Shaisiri, which Siri is what we call her for short. So I love that you were able to incorporate and celebrate the memory of your family through your company that's thriving. Do you hope to pass it on someday to your children?
You know what? Our girls for sure think that they're going to take over and run it before long. They always talk about, well, I'm going to do this part and I'm going to do this part. I'm going to do this. So we'll see. I mean, that would really be ideal for sure.
I love it. So cute. So cute. So if people want to purchase, they can go to
hazelandolive.com.
Awesome. And that's the same on all social media to follow you?
Yes, that's where we're at on all forms of social media.
Wonderful. Well, I definitely encourage everyone to check out Taylor's new designs when they preview and also to see what else she has on her website, because you truly do have something for every woman. And that's another thing I love is that it doesn't matter what your personal style, you will find things. So it's so fantastic.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. Thank you so much for being with us today. I really appreciate it. I'm so happy for all of your success and just wish you continued blessings as you continue your journey.
You too. Thanks, Annika.
And thank you to our audience for listening today. This has been another week of Women Acquiring Assets, and we'll be back next week.
Be sure to tune in every week for another episode and learn more about how financial assets are a store of resources that women and families can tap into, particularly during emergencies, and how wealth can provide a nest egg that can be leveraged into investments like a home, an investment property, or a business, and then can be passed on to future generations. Thank you so much for listening. See you next time.
If you work as a manufacturing facilities engineer, installing a new piece of equipment can be as complex as the machinery itself. From prep work to alignment and testing, it's your team's job to put it all together. That's why it's good to have Grainger on your side. With industrial-grade products and next-day delivery, Grainger helps ensure you have everything you need close at hand through every step of the installation. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.